It's 6 o'clock on Saturday, the 7th of December, 2019. Good evening and thank you for tuning in to the English edition of Ora News. My name is Oliver, bringing you the only daily update of the local Albanian news translated into English. The November 26 earthquake killed 51 citizens due to, in part, the collapse of their homes. The most affected areas were the dwellings built during the communist era in Thuman and the buildings after the 1990s in Durrës. One of the victims is also Chief Commissioner Bayram Hardarmatai, who was found dead in the rubble of his Kavalishen's holiday home. The 54-year-old was in Durrës undergoing a training program, but was not alerted of the potential dangers that risk the security of the building, a position that the majority denies. But Ora News obtained a document signed by the inspection team of 4 engineers, which clearly states that the new hotel of this Durrës vacation home, referring to building number 4, does not contain damage to its existing structure, but is currently under surveillance as pieces of brick and plaster can break away and cause severe injuries. According to this document, after the September 21st earthquake, the facility needed immediate reconstruction, information that was already communicated to the director of the facility. Unfortunately, the inspection team's concerns, which was ignored in due time, took the life of the chief commissioner because part of the building collapsed due to a second earthquake on November 26th. But in building number 5, on the night of November 26th, there were also police academy students and coaches who were present and fortunately did not suffer any injuries. Due to this situation and the question raised in this case, the Democratic Party requested official information from the Albanian government regarding the verifications carried out in building number 4 of the resting house of the Ministry of Interior in Kavalishen's of Durrës, which was destroyed by the recent earthquake and subsequently took the life of the Chief Commissioner, Bayram Hardarmatai. Well, Chief Prosecutor Osian Çella, after meeting with the Durrës prosecution, was asked if there would be any arrests for those involved in the building's collapse after the November 26th earthquake. He gave a strong warning, stating, "These are the decisions that prosecutors make. They are independent in decision-making, and there are people who have broken the law, and as a result, many have lost their lives. The accountability that will be held against them will be the maximum. All the builders and officials, wherever it is proven and that there are elements of penal responsibility, there will be no hesitation in pursuing them in any case. I guarantee our full support, and we will provide to the investigators that these decisions will be independent," said Çella. Standing before the media, the chief prosecutor said the facts point to the violation of the law that caused so many victims, while stating that the investigation would soon yield tangible results. "I am very pleased with what I heard. Prosecutors are motivated and soon the results will be tangible. We are aware of what happened. Irresponsible individuals having committed certain acts with complete conscience have violated the law, and the consequence has resulted in the deaths of many people. In this context, the response from the prosecution and law enforcement will be correct, and in the end, we will have a clear result for the investigation. But on the other hand, the investigation, which aims at looking into the accountability of the builders for these previous construction projects, has highlighted many problems in the law. Problems are emerging from the investigation with the legislation in force and with the adjustments and shortcomings that exist. I believe that the investigation will strongly serve to bring about important changes in the law so that such events will never happen again," said Çella. At the same time, the head of the Durrës prosecution, Anita Yella, said she had asked experts from the General Prosecution and the High Council of Prosecution to assist in the investigation. When asked by Ora News about information that there were apparently files that were not found by the prosecution in the municipality, the prosecutor referred to the law without denying or affirming. During his first visit as prosecutor, Çella guaranteed the support of the 4 prosecutors that launched a similar investigation while stressing that there was no information regarding destroyed evidence. After Durrës chief prosecutor Çella also stopped at the Croya prosecution. The document signed by Shkodër Police Director Niko Brahimaj rejects the claims made by the General Director of State Police, Arti Veliu, to voluntarily contribute to helping families affected by the earthquake. The document orders Shkodër District Police officers to contribute financial aid amounts relating to their position. Thus, the director of the deputy director of the chiefs of police stations are obliged to pay 5,000 lek from their salaries. The heads of the departments at the directorate and commissariats are obliged to contribute 4,000 lek, while specialists and other officers must contribute 3,000 lek. Moreover, Director Brahimi ordered all civilian officers to pay a sum of 2,000 lek to help families affected by the earthquake. On Friday, the Director of State Police, in a statement to the media, said that the voluntary contributions have now resulted in a collection of around 104 million lek. The tragedy in Thumana, where 24 people lost their lives after the November 26 earthquake, according to residents, was previously warned. Residents in one of the shelters of Xinjiang say experts have declared the shelters uninhabitable ever since the 4 earthquakes on July 4th of 2018, where the strongest tremor was registered at magnitude of 5.2. When the earthquake hit on July 4th, experts told us that the high-rise buildings would be uninhabitable. This is what we have suffered through. I hope we won't have any more earthquakes, said one resident. Thumana residents say that damage to buildings and other dwellings that collapsed on November 26 had worsened following the September earthquake. Even at that time, according to the inhabitants of the collapsed buildings, they were told that the high-rise buildings were uninhabitable, but that poverty forced them to continue living there where they were. They were told this even as they continued to live there, because here in Thumana, in such a poor place, there is no opportunity to move somewhere else, said another resident. In some of Thumana's larger villas and in many other houses, a yellow sign has been placed, which means that they will be repaired, but residents say they have no sense of security at all in returning to those buildings in reference to what they had experienced. I don't want to go live there. I cannot send my kids there. We are scared to go home as it is impossible. What we want is for our dwellings to be demolished and rebuilt. I can't go into it anymore because the house is torn to pieces, said a resident. Now they await the government-promised solution or warn of a new wave of departures from Albania, this time based on the reality that there is no roof over their heads. We don't go inside anymore, we'll stay outside. We don't have the courage to live there. We are afraid, said residents. Hundreds of Thumana and Kurban residents have been accommodated in some hotels in Xinjiang, but their future is still unknown after the November 26th earthquake. "24 houses damaged by the September 21st earthquake in the Ora countryside are heading for completion. Prime Minister Edi Rama visited families to whom he had promised a new home before the year-end holidays. Rama also pointed out the irony of some of the beliefs expressed by locals. The new houses are being rebuilt in the Dede village and in the Marichnet village of Ora. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Edi Rama, in today's state of emergency meeting, called for all builders to have stock apartments. Rama said that it is not the time to use these apartments for the benefit of firms. We will call all those who have stock apartments and find a low price. Anyone who owns stock should know that there is no chance for bargaining or trading. If we get the ceiling price that we set according to market analysis to a lower rate, then we will proceed. Otherwise, we will not proceed any further because we are not going to buy apartments for the benefit of any firm," said Rama. And that's the news across the country today. Thank you for watching our English edition this evening, and be sure to join us again every Monday to Saturday at 6 p.m. for the latest news from Albania. Once again, on behalf of Ora News, thank you and have a good weekend.